Thanks for staying with us on Midday Kentucky. Obviously, go out, get your t-shirts. They'll be there a little while longer if you're out in Jessamine County. For now, let's talk. We're starting with not so fun stuff.
Yeah, it was some pretty big stuff happened around the world this past weekend.
Yeah, a little somber, well, a lot somber. New Zealand still in shock after Friday's fatal shootings. Men and women were killed while attending Islamic services at two different mosques. Police officials say that death toll now 50. More than 40 people were wounded, some of them children, 2 years old, that young. While New Zealand is on the other side of the world, of course, there are ways you can help right here. You can donate to the families of the victims through Launch Goods United for Christchurch Mosque Shootings page. You can share a link to help connect survivors and their families on social media, and then donate to the New Zealand Red Cross, of course. All that information is on our Facebook page. We're not going to spend too much time on this right now. It's devastating.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of coverage on this right now all over the world, and we just want people to know, our thoughts are definitely going towards that whole country because it's such a shocker.
Well, and it's a country. Well, it's an area that you don't usually see that kind of unrest throughout, whether it's religious, civil. I mean, it's a pretty peaceful. Yeah. I hate saying that.
Yeah.
But for something like that to happen there is definitely shocking. Unfortunately, we've become a little more blasé to it in other areas of the world. So I think maybe nothing we can say.
It's intense. It's scary, and our thoughts are with them.
So check that out on our website. If you feel compelled to help, the links are there.
Yep.
All right, we're going to stick with another serious topic. Not quite so serious. Sports. It's very common in sports television to replay a player's injury. Watchers criticized CBS for what they did yesterday. Finally, in case you didn't see it, the Michigan State Spartans faced the Michigan Wolverines in the Big Ten Championship. The Spartans' Kyle Ahrens, and I just killed his name, injured his leg after landing on it awkwardly, screaming in pain. Not unusual in a sports game. However, the network replayed that injury, and at times the audio of him crying replayed. Did you see this?
I didn't see it live. I watched it earlier this morning because I kind of wanted to know in reference, you know? And it was intense, number one. But I understand why they're showing it because people, they want to see what happened. It's such a big part of the game. Because now, this player during the tournament is out. So I'll never forget when Louisville,
Kevin Ware.
Yep. Yeah,
2013 NCAA.
It was crazy, wasn't it?
That was awful. I remember sitting there and watching it live and just kind of like, did that just happen?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh yeah, it did just happen because you showed it 20 more times.
Yep, and then it's with social media and everything else, you see everything like this over and over. But here's the question. Amber, do you think that they should have kept playing it, or do you think that they overdo it?
I don't think they should. As a broadcaster, I don't think there's really any need to re-show the actual injury over and over and over again. Because especially in college sports, these are kids.
Yep.
They're still kids. I mean, that's in one of their worst moments in time, and it's just being broadcast over and over, and especially the sound. Do we really need the sound? What is that adding to the actual situation for the viewers at home?
Yeah, no, you're right. I agree with everything you just said, honestly.
I mean, I get that people want to see it, but that's like, and I hate saying this, but is that a sick kind of obsession people
sick
like?
Indulgence that people, and that's the sad thing is like the media recognizes a lot of times that terrible tragedies bring attention.
Well, and I'm going to stick up for the media here because everybody always blames the media. The media is a full circle.
Right.
The media gives what the people want to see. If the media does not show something, the people will complain.
Right.
It's an entire circle, no matter what kind of news coverage it is. It's all very, very, it's kind of like the butterfly effect. Something happens, they're going to show it. Yes, ratings do pick up on something like this. It's disgusting. Another one, so Gordon Hayward on the Celtics.
Right.
I think I showed you right before, and I remember that injury as well. Gruesome. He snapped his leg. His ankle was completely over. Something like that. Now, do you think there's a difference when it's a college athlete compared to a professional athlete?
No, because I think it's in the same realm. Like it can be, that could be career ending. It really can be. And And like you said, it's what's it bringing to the game?
Right.
And that's what these people, these players, they put their hearts out there. They sacrifice everything. Some of them do make it to a point, the 1% where they are paid well. But for all the people that have these dreams and then they have a devastating situation like this happen, it can be career ending and just
there were a
horrific.
couple football ones. Joe, is it Theismann? Yeah, he broke his leg and it was disgusting. I mean, they happen.
Yeah.
I'm not. People want to watch. People like horror
It's part of
films
it.
because
Yeah.
people are getting their heads cut off. I mean, but this is
Amber,
real
that's
life.
sick. Okay.
It is disgusting. Okay, look, I did.
Do you like horror films?
No, and I
Okay,
did
all
horror.
right.
Like, I've been in horror films, throwing that out there. I know the makeup process that goes into
Yeah.
these disgusting injuries, and I will still not watch
Ugh.
them because I think I just see that happening to somebody, and it's so disgusting. So something like this, I don't know. Let us know what you think.
That's a great topic.
Do you need to see these injuries over and over and over
Yeah.
again? And a lot of times they'll zoom in right on the injury and slow-mo it and all that kind of stuff. Is it too much, or as a viewer, are you entitled to see that? Let us know. All right. We're
I
going to
know.
go to something a little
Little
lighter. I feel
lighter.
like we've been lecturing. Good Lord. All right, we're going to lecture one more. We'll do this quick.
Yeah.
What would you do in a situation like this? A woman is asking for advice after she witnessed two men at the cafe table next to her harassing the young waitress. They were touching her arm and wrist and saying things like, "What are you mixed with? What? And do all your women look like you?" At one point, they said something that made the waitress say with a polite laugh, "Oh, that's a bit creepy." That's the standard girl doesn't know what to do because she's at work situation.
Right.
Red flag, red flag.
Well, okay. First off, as a woman, how do you feel about this?
If somebody would help, well, I have a big mouth.
Yeah, I don't see you letting this parade go on too long, actually.
There's a reason I never worked in food service. And it was always a joke even. My brother was a waiter, and he's like, "You would just never.
Yeah.
You'd never do it." I think
Would you have said something?
if I was sitting next,
Yeah.
if it got pushed, yes, and I
Yeah.
have before.
Oh.
Because I cannot stand seeing somebody in a situation where they're helpless,
Right.
and somebody's doing something, and
A bit of a bull, like they're getting bullied basically.
They are. She's getting harassed
Yep.
by people who are paying her bill and in her establishment,
Mm-hmm.
and she doesn't. I don't feel like she's. No. What would you do?
I would definitely say something too. I think
Would
it's
you punch them
disgusting.
in the face?
If it came to that, because there are people that just feel privileged to say whatever. I mean, these guys were basically being racist. They were being, sexist, just gross. And I would definitely say something. We've been in situations, my friends are very, we don't like to see that type of stuff.
Right.
You
You're
got to be the
gentlemen.
change. There's a point where
wait! You're gonna quote a great quote
no,
for
I'm
me.
just-
You got to be the change.
No, I know
You want
Gandhi.
to see in the world?
Yeah, hey, be the change.
That's what I was
right?
waiting for. DG's
But-
quotes.
But it is real, and you do see this type of stuff all the time, unfortunately.
time.
And I think I like that this girl brought this to the attention, though. She was like, I didn't know what to do, because a lot of times people feel like if they do say something, it's going to cause an even bigger conflict or whatever. But listen, people love it and they appreciate it when you stand up for them, and that also kind of feeds courage.
Right.
So unfortunately, sometimes you do have to be the one to be like, hey, you guys need to back off, you need to shut up, you need to whatever it is. I'm sorry, getting a little aggressive over here. But it's one of those things where we can't put up with this type of garbage. So,
Preach on, DG.
Whew.
I agree.
Got us fired up. It's Monday, people.
I hope nobody says something about
Yeah.
the DG today. We could have another story tomorrow. All right, here's a little bit more of a fun one. Let us know again what that's on our Facebook page as well. This one. At a point in time, the age of 26 became
26.
over the hill age. You were called a thornback if you weren't married and had kids. Okay, thornback represents a sea skate with sharp spines over its tail and back. So definitely what I think of when I think of somebody over 26. It's definitely not a compliment. If you were single and under 25, you were called a spinster. All right, so I don't think this still holds true, but I mean, I guess does that I'm just a little over 26, maybe a few years. Thornback. Thornback.
Amber, I won't call you a thornback.
You can. I'm going to own it.
The whole-
I mean, shoot.
The old DG and the Thornback over here. It's so wild because, Brandy and I are at that point where we're talking about having kids.
Right.
We're right there, and it's big. And, my mom was like, I'm not getting any younger. And I thought she was kind of talking to me, like, you're not getting any younger. But I think she might have been being like, I want to see my grandkids. I'm not getting any younger. But I think that it's so interesting in Kentucky especially, that 26 age is big. Like, people, like if you're not 28 and married and kids.
I have noticed that, and I don't know if it's a Southern kind of culture thing. Don't shoot me, but people get married a lot younger, and it's kind of expected out of them through their families, where maybe in more of the city life, there's a lot more singles, or you've been divorced, whatever life goes on.
Well, I think people are a lot of times pushing more for career. You know what I mean? Like, I think that was a big thing. Like, Brandy and I were together for a long time before we got married.
But she wasn't a Thornback. She wasn't single.
She wasn't.
Here's the Thornback.
But she was career focused, and you've been career focused too. You know what I mean? Like, you've been all over the world, you've lived all over the world, and you've been focused on your career. I
think we should rename the show DG and the Thornback.
DG and the old Thornback.
Let us know what you think.
Gosh, that is a ruthless one. We had some wild topics today.
Seagate. what, you couldn't come with, that one's what flabbergasted me.
Gosh, that was a ruthless.
All right, stay with us. DG and the Thornback. We'll be right back.
We'll be back.